Princess and the Woman from Ogidi. In a small village called Ogidi lived a woman named Chinyere. She was a hardworking, beautiful woman who had learned to make a living by using her skills. She was skilled at tailoring and crafting, making beautiful clothes and handmade items which she sold at the local markets. Chinyere didn't live a life of luxury, but she was content. She worked hard every day, sewing and selling her craft to earn enough money to take care of herself. But sometimes, when she had quiet moments, she dreamed of something bigger. She dreamed of a life where things were easier, where she could relax without worrying about where the next meal would come from. She would close her eyes and imagine what it would be like to live in a big, beautiful house, like the rich people she had heard about. Yet, in her heart, she always knew that her life was about hard work and dreams of a better life. Far away in the Ugu kingdom, there was a princess named Amara. She was the daughter of the king and queen. Raised in a life of luxury, the palace was grand with golden chandeliers and everything she could ever want. But despite the wealth and beauty around her, Amara was unhappy. Her life was filled with rules and expectations. She had to attend royal events, wear fancy clothing, and live under the constant watch of the palace guards and servants. Amara was tired of always being in the spotlight. She longed for freedom, to live like an ordinary person and not be constantly reminded of her royal duties. She wanted to walk the streets without people bowing to her, without royal ceremonies, but she didn't know how to escape her responsibilities. One day, tired of being trapped in her royal life, she decided to take a chance. She would leave the palace disguised as an ordinary woman to experience a different life. Amara dressed in simple clothes and left the palace without anyone knowing. She traveled to Enugu, the nearest city. Feeling free for the first time in years, there she wandered the streets, visited local markets, and sat in crowds without anyone recognizing her. It felt like a dream come true. One day, as Amara was walking through the local market, she saw a woman standing outside a tailor's shop. The woman's face caught her attention. She had round cheeks, dark eyes, and a warm smile. There was something about her that seemed familiar. Amara couldn't help but stop and stare. To her surprise, the woman also seemed to notice her. The woman introduced herself as Chinyere, and after a few moments of conversation, Amara realized that they looked very alike. They both had the same round face and sparkling eyes. Chinyere couldn't believe it. "You look just like me," she said, laughing. Ha ha ha. Amara smiled and explained that she had come to the city to experience life as a regular person, free from the expectations of the palace. Amara shared her story with Chinyere. She explained how she had always felt trapped in the palace, surrounded by luxury but lacking true freedom. She wanted to understand what life was like for ordinary people. Apart from the royal duties and constant attention, she told Chinyere she would want them to switch places. Chinyere, however, was not easily convinced. "I don't know if I can do this," she said. "I have worked hard to build this life for myself. You are a princess. You belong in the palace, not in the market like this." But Amara was persistent. She promised Chinyere that it would be just for a short time. She would return to her royal life soon. But for now, she wanted to live like a commoner. She assured Chinyere that she wouldn't have to do anything difficult, just a little time in each other's shoes to understand the other's life. After much persuasion, Chinyere agreed. She wasn't sure what to expect, but curiosity got the better of her. They decided to swap places. Amara would go to Ogidi and Chinyere would take Amara's place in the palace. Chinyere, now in the palace, was amazed at the luxury around her. The rooms were beautiful, the food was rich and plentiful, and servants attended to her every need. But soon, Chinyere realized that the palace life wasn't as easy as it seemed. Everywhere she went, people watched her, waiting for her to do something royal. She couldn't speak freely, and every action was carefully observed. It felt strange to be so important, yet so alone. Chinyere missed the simple life she had had in Ogidi, the hustle of the markets, the friendly faces, and the sense of freedom to do as she pleased. Meanwhile, Amara in Ogidi had her own struggles. She tried to live as a regular person, but it was harder than she expected. She visited the markets, but people looked at her strangely. They didn't recognize her as the princess, but they could tell she was different. Amara felt out of place. She didn't know how to bargain for goods or carry her own bags like the local women. She missed the palace comforts and quickly realized that living as a commoner wasn't as easy as she thought. Days passed and both women began to feel the weight of their new lives. Chinyere was exhausted from the constant attention in the palace, and Amara was tired of struggling to fit in among the villagers. Both of them missed their old lives. Chinyere longed for the simplicity and freedom she had in Ogidi, while Amara yearned for the stability and purpose of her royal life. It wasn't long before both women decided that they had had enough. They agreed to swap back, realizing that their lives, though different, both came with challenges. Chinyere returned to Ogidi with a new understanding of her own life. She appreciated her hard work even more and realized that the real wealth she had was in her ability to create a life for herself. She decided to help others by offering skills training to young women in the village, sharing her knowledge of tailoring and crafting so they could support themselves too. Amara returned to the palace, but she no longer saw it the same way. She realized that being a princess wasn't just about luxury, it was about using her position to make a difference. She decided to be more involved with her people, listening to their concerns and helping them improve their lives. She knew her royal duties would always be there, but now she understood that being a leader wasn't just about living in a palace, it was about serving the people. Both women had learned valuable lessons. Chinyere learned that true freedom wasn't in luxury, it was in the ability to choose her path, to live honestly, and to support her community. Amara learned that friendship was about service and not status. And so, the princess and the woman from Ogidi both returned to their lives, changed forever by their brief time in each other's shoes. The end.